Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of The Elite, the Elite Count Super. Hang on a sec. There we go. Alright. I'm War Machine MJ, and I'm here today to talk about Night 1 and Night 2 of Fyter Fest. Now, the reason why this episode is a 3 count, it's an Elite Count Super, is because I wanted to go ahead and talk about AEW's Fyter Fest all at one time. Since it was spread across 2 weeks, make it a lot simpler to talk about it in one sitting. So let's go ahead and kick off the review with Night 1 taking place on Wednesday, July 1st. Of course, this ran opposed by NXT's Great American Bash, which that'll be its own episode of 3 Count Super. So, yeah. Night 1 kicked off with a tag team match between Jurassic Express's Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus taking on MJF and Wardlow. Yeah, this was a pretty good match. Of course, they took There was the usual spot of let's throw Marco Stunt around like a lawn gnome. Oh wow, I didn't know that. But yeah, towards the finish. MJF with his Dynamite Does in ring almost clocked Wardlow, and while he scolded him for messing things up, Jungle Boy just kind of gave the ring hand a little bit of assistance finding Wardlow's jawline, which that gave Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus the win. It was 15 minutes, 15 seconds. So, yeah, it was a fun enough match. Next, we had an amazing, just standout performance as Hikaru Shida defended her AEW Women's Championship against Penelope Ford. Now, at the beginning of this match, Kip Sabian, who was accompanying Penelope Ford at ringside, was kicked out of ringside. And, of course, he took Hikaru Shida's kendo stick with him. And Penelope Ford put on one hell of a performance during this match. Like, that was the best I've ever seen her at. Towards the finish, however, Kip Sabian tried to get involved behind the referee's back, and he got clocked for his troubles. Of course, throughout this whole match, Hikaru Shida kept trying to put Penelope Ford away with the Falcon Arrow, and Penelope Ford found a way out of the Falcon Arrow every time, including just rolling through with the move. Anyway, Hikaru Shida put away Penelope Ford with the running knee to retain her championship, 11 minutes, 28 seconds. Next, we had Cody defending the TNT Championship against Jake Hager. And this was a match. Yeah, with Cody, it's usually, it's dialed all the way to 11, or it's just kind of over the top. This one felt kind of meh. Not much to say about this match. Cody didn't necessarily bleed a ton. Towards the finish, Jake Hager locked in that triangle choke that he does. However, Cody rolled it into a pin where he pinned Hager, and the bell rang, so Cody retained his championship. Hager thought he had gotten the victory, and while he was arguing with the ref, he just clocked the ref, and then went about his way. You know, just kind of like, what have I done? So Cody retained his championship, 14 minutes 59 seconds. Next, we had Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy, and Mark Quinn with Matt Hardy, so they were the Hardy Party, taking on the Inner Circle, Santana and Ortiz. Now, from the start of the show, Chris Jericho was on commentary, and during this match, Orange Cassidy came out and just kind of sat next to the commentary booth during this match. Now, this match was just absolutely amazing. Private Party put on one hell of a showing against Santana and Ortiz, and they got the W. That went 11 minutes 23 seconds. Now, at the end of the match, Chris Jericho had just blown his stack. He started getting up in Orange Cassidy's face. He had to be restrained. Meanwhile, Orange Cassidy just put his hands in his pockets and went about his business. So then Jericho was removed from the commentary booth. There was a match where Nyla Rose squashed some jobber. I forget who it was. But then she had the announcement that she was going to hire the services of a manager. Of course, to put her point in action, or to put her, to make her point, she referenced people in AEW who have managers become champions, like Cody, who is TNT champion with Arn in his corner, and Brian Cage with Taz in his corner. Of course, earlier in the night, Taz had made an announcement because Cage and Mox's match had been postponed. Taz gave Cage the FTW championship, which was Nyla Rose's point. So, yeah. Taz giving the FTW championship to Brian Cage. Yeah, basically Taz said this belt represents the baddest son of a bitch in the business, or what have you. Of course, for a little history lesson, FTW, I'm trying not to say FCW, the FTW championship was a championship created by Taz, is not recognized by any affiliation as an official title. He created it back in the days of ECW because he couldn't challenge then ECW champion Shane Douglas, which Shane Douglas was either in was out on kayfabe injury or in legit injury. But he created the belt until he got a shot against Shane Douglas. Then when he became the ECW champion, he retired the belt. And because Taz owns it outright, that means nobody's going to get mad if he uses it on TV. So yeah. Next, we had the main event, which was for the AEW World Tag Team titles, as Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page defended against Chuck Taylor and Trent from the Best Friends. Now, Best Friends rolled up in Daly's place in style, well, in the back of Trent's mom's minivan. And it's a hilarious visual because the two of them are getting fired up, and Trent's trying to keep his mad dog face on while his mom is giving him a kiss. And it's just kind of like, I mean, it's kind of hard to mad dog, but at the same time, you look kind of tough for owing up to it. So, Anyway, this was an okay match. Yeah, Omega and Page didn't have to resort to their closing time finisher to put the best friends away, but instead, Trent Taylor, Trent Taylor, damn it, Trent ate the buckshot lariat for well for the champs to retain. And this match went in for 15 minutes 39 seconds. Then we move on to night two, which happened on July 8th. Of course, running in conjunction with night two of Great American Bash, or running against Great American Bash. Um, yeah, it was announced towards the end of night one that Kenny Omega and Hangman Page would defend against Private Party. Of course, that was to make up for the fact that the AEW Championship match was off. So they had to find some way around it. Anyway, yeah, Hangman and Omega went all out to make Private Party look good. Of course, Private Party ate the closing time finisher between Omega and Page for the for the victory. Well, they retained 11 minutes 32 seconds. During the match, however, FTR, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, they came out, got a glimpse of the action with a cooler full of beer. And then after the match, they, tried to congratulate the champs, by giving them a peace offering, a couple bottles of beer. Hangman absolutely had absolutely no resistance in taking it. He just taked it, popped it, chug a lug. Kenny took it and then he poured it to the outside like a dick. Let's see. First of all, you don't waste beer. Somebody paid good money for that beer. You don't waste it. Second of all, if you don't drink, you could have just said, no thank you, I don't drink. You didn't have to be a dick about it. I mean, come on. But, yeah, Kenny doing that, he drew the ire of FTR, and it came, and the Young Bucks came out to play Peacemaker, of course. Everybody in that whole situation was treating Kenny like a dick, including Hangman Page, who, they're supposed to be on the, no pun intended, same page. Next, we had Joey Janela taking on Lance Archer. Of course, Joey Janela came out first. He was just kind of wondering where Sonny Kiss was at. Cue Lance Archer's music, and he comes out hauling Sonny Kiss on his shoulder. This was a pretty good match. Joey Janela tried everything in his power to survive against Lance Archer, but it was to no avail as Lance Archer put away Joey Janela with the blackout. 11 minutes 17 seconds afterwards, he beat down on both Janela and Kiss. So continue his reign of dominance. Next, we had 8-man tag team action as the Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon and Phoenix, who rolled up in the FTR mobile, took on, well, FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, and the Young Bucks. Yeah, this was just an outrageous spot fest. There was even this really cool spot where Phoenix came over the top rope to the outside on the pile of people with while hitting a Canadian destroyer on Nick Jackson. It was just holy God. Anyway, yeah, the Butcher, the Blade, and the Lucha Brothers took advantage of of a miscommunication between Matt Jackson and Dax Harwood, as Harwood accidentally ate a super kick. Yeah, they took advantage of that to get the victory. 16 minutes, 27 seconds. Next, we had Nyla Rose taking on Kenzie Page and Kylene King. My tongue doesn't want to work today. In a handicap match. Of course, Nyla Rose beat him in 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Afterwards, she revealed, well, actually, this was where she announced her announced her announced her taking up a manager. Yeah, it would be on the next week's program she would reveal who it was. Next we had Colt Cabana and Stu Grayson and Mr. Brody Lee of the Dark Order taking on SoCal Uncensored in their entirety. Of course, this match came about after... how did this match come about? It came about because... damn, I forgot. It came about because Brody Lee and Colt Cabana got a victory in a tag team match against another tag team. I forget who it was, but yeah, this was an interesting match because both Brody Lee and Stu Grayson were taking bullets for Colt Cabana left and right. Of course, Brody Lee put down Christopher Daniels and gave the cover to Colt Cabana. So Colt Cabana finally got his big W, and all is right with him. Or is it? He might be a part of the Dark Order. Anyway, 11 minutes, 27 seconds. And finally, in the main event, Le Champion Chris Jericho, of course with Santana Ortiz, took on Orange Cassidy. Now, when Orange Cassidy was coming out, of course, Chuck Taylor and Trent were accompanying him. OC basically told him, nope, I got this. And he sent them back to the back. And this was a sleeper match. Like, it was just flat out amazing. Of course, these two were just beating the holy hell out of each other. Even Orange Cassidy mixed up his devastating super shin kicks. You know, because he did the usual bat. When he charged up, he planted Jericho with a super kick right on the kisser. And there were several times where Orange Cassidy almost had the W, but he couldn't quite put away Le Champion. And Le Champion answered in kind with a Judas effect. 1, 2, 3. We close out Fyter Fest with Chris Jericho standing tall. 18 minutes flat. So that does it for AEW's Fyter Fest, their 2-week event. Of course, fun fact, Fyter Fest was supposed to take place over across in the UK. That would have been awesome. But, yeah. Oh well. So, that being said, if you miss Rod and his opinions, he has a podcast you need to check out. It's called Prime Talk with Rodimus Prime on the Castbox app. Go check it out. He has a lot of opinions. So, yeah, that being said, I'm War Machine MJ. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bang.